Welcome friends to my quick video about doing Energized Health for 520 days. Well, what is Energized Health? Energized Health is an amazing protocol that gets you into the right habits in order to be successful into having the ultimate health and fitness possible in your life. First thing that we have to point out is that we all have to take responsibility for everything that has happened in our life thus far. It's not somebody else's fault. Nobody wound up putting a spoon in our mouth. Nobody gave us the habits of gluttony and stuff like this. Nobody is the one that's responsible for not doing enough exercise or movement. So first, let me show you the results. I started 520 days ago, about 520 days ago. I haven't counted the exact days. At 307 pounds. Now I'm at 189.4. So let me show you what I look like without the shirt. So what you're gonna notice is that there's no flabby skin. I've met people that lost like over 100 pounds, but then they have like crazy flabby skin everywhere. The only little flab left is on the stomach. However, doing this protocol is that it all actually tightens up. You know, you're taking a specific natural supplements every day, getting you to the optimal health. What are the supplements? Well, that's part of the program, and that's why I'm going to recommend you join it after you heard all the conclusions. So starting at 307, being over 100 pounds overweight, now I'm at probably the best fitness level in my life. Now let me get my shirt back on, and then we're going to continue this video. So what are some key takeaways from this? That whatever brought you to this point in your life, you have the ability to change it in 30 seconds or less. You started watching the video. You're already looking to better your life. You're already looking for more out of life. Everybody has their own reasons. That's what's really powerful about this program, is that it helps you figure out your own exact why. You know, for example, what if you could think clearer? What if you could have more energy than ever before? What if you could get off prescription medications, whether you're somebody younger like me or somebody in their 80s? What if you could reverse a lot of issues? Some people have issues in their knees with the cartilage. Like the founder of this program had painful knees. However, doing this program, he was able to regrow his cartilage, and now he has no pains anymore in the knees. So I'm not saying, oh, this is what's going to happen medically. It's just actually what happens day by day in every way to different people that wound up actually doing the program. So one of the first things we got to realize is that, you know, some people know the price of everything but the value of nothing. So to me, health is the ultimate value. The ultimate health is wealth, as it is said. Because with health, you have the energy, you have the mental clarity, you have the power to make anything in your life happen, whether it's playing with your grandkids or actually winding up meeting that perfect partner for you to have kids with. It's feeling good every day, feeling positive every day. However, it does take time. This is where I believe other companies, they sell you on a quick fix. But there is no such thing as a quick fix. You have an elephant, like I was 307-pound elephant. And how do you get rid of that fat and get into your ultimate shape and ultimate health and ultimate feeling good? One step at a time, one movement at a time. Doing the right things long enough consistently until you get the results. Because it does take time to succeed. However, what else are you going to do? There's other programs out there that are like, oh, do this, do this, do this. However, without addressing the underlying issues, you're building a house. And if you have structural foundational issues, the house can sink in or fall apart. You want to build it on a strong foundation. You can only build as high up as your foundation is deep. So what this program allows you to do is rebuild, renovate your house. You could be from whether you want to live in a 3-bedroom house or whether you want to live in a mansion, in a beautiful gallery, a beautiful palace. I'm of the Christian faith, so I believe that our bodies are our temples and that we must take good care of them. And by taking good care of them, we're showing our love for God and love for what we should be doing with our bodies. So this is what's really great about this program, is that if you read, for example, listen to the audiobook called Atomic Habits. What this program allows you to do is gives you a set plan, a roadmap. What you got to do every day consistently in order to reach the results. And it shows you, oh, look, this person, 88 years old, lost 100 pounds. Oh, this person wound up getting taken off all prescription meds by his own doctors. This person got healthier like this. Me, I went from 307 pounds, feeling lethargic all the time, taking naps all the time, to feeling full of energy, getting my dreams come true, and feeling good while doing it. So that's completely invaluable to me. And a lot of times, this is one of those things in selling, is that the reason why nobody tries to tell you the price of hand is because people get a sticker shock. Oh, it costs this much, but it's just a program. It's not just a program. It's a program that works. It's a program with proven track record. It's a program where you just pay one time, you get a coach to help you hold your hand until you start doing the right things long enough consistently, until you develop the habits of doing the right things, and then you do them on autopilot. Imagine every day you just want to exercise and work out because it makes you feel extremely good. It takes 21 days to develop a habit. The way this program works is 88 plus 14. The first 2 weeks are foundational, kind of like you just start getting used to eating the food, and then 2 weeks in, you start learning about a thing called a shuffle and stuff like this. And every week on a Tuesday night call, we have a Zoom call with all the members or whoever wants to join, listen in on other people's successes, and ask John and Chelsea Jubilee and all the other health coaches about great tips on improving their health. One of the foundational basics you will learn about this is that until you have perfect hydration, or the ideal or the best hydration possible that it takes time to achieve, it's hard for the body to heal up and do better than it is now. So you want that health, you need that hydration. And this is where I believe this is the key element. We're like 90+% water, and then, oh, you don't have to drink water, you don't have to do this, you don't have to do that. So it seems like, a lot of these people in bodybuilders and stuff like that, oftentimes they don't have the ultimate health. So they might have the big muscles to show for it, but interior, on the inside, their hydration is not at the ideal level. With the ideal hydration, what your body allows it to do is to get rid of toxins naturally, not to hold on to them in the fat, to get rid of the fat and things like this. So this is like the key element. That's a foundational basic. And then you have a habit developing. It could be as easy as a walk, a brisk walk every day. It could be as easy as that. So getting the body movement and getting all the correct things in the right perspective with the roadmap, and then you have a community. So first you have that coach coaching you through this in the beginning, and then you get to listen in on every Tuesday night call. You could raise your hand, also put out your commentary and add to the conversation, and then there's going to be a lot of people, there could be hundreds of people cheering for you. Good work, good job. Like, we're so happy to see you. It's just amazing. And then you could have John and Chelsea say, like, great work on that. Or the coach is saying, like, great work on doing that. So what it winds up doing with this program is that because you put up that money up front, it's kind of like going to a school. You put up the tuition money, and then you have this degree. Otherwise, you could be like, oh, that's just a piece of paper. No, it's something where you completed the work, you learned the material, and now you have this diploma to show that you did the work. For me, my diploma is this, what I just showed you. Feeling better, feeling full of energy, pursuing my goals and dreams, getting more positivity in my mind, because this is one of those things. What we also learn is that a lot of our traumas, a lot of our issues, psychologically, could be, some people believe, that they could be trapped in our body in the forms of fat. So, for example, if somebody is all the time in a stress level, that creates cortisol in the body, and that creates extra fat. So if somebody is always worried when they're eating that piece of cake, they could be actually gaining more fat from it than the guy that's like, oh, I work out, you know what, I could eat that piece of cake. And that's one of those things. Once you graduate out of the program, you could technically eat anything you want. Obviously in moderation, you can't eat like a pig and still decide not to gain weight. However, you could have nice, really great portions. I would say I don't feel hungry or deprived or anything of like this that you have with the diets. And this is one of the reasons that every other diet out there fails. I'm 520 days in. I'm obviously much better, much stronger, much healthier, much more powerful. My brain is working clearer. There's another thing that we learn is that when our brain is like some sort of percentage dehydrated, we could be working with only half our functioning brain capacity. So if you're really smart, you could get a lot smarter. But if somebody really already has brain fog or other issues because they don't have the habits they don't know about because of this program, that fog continues and continues and continues. So obviously results may vary. You have to do this your own thing. But I'm a guy that could show the pictures, the beforehand, the afterhand, the results. Afterwards, we're going to review the pictures that I took like 3 months ago and now. There's already a difference. One of the things, for example, in the past month, I did gain 2 pounds. And then a lot of people say like, wow, he gained 2 pounds in doing the program. That it must mean that it doesn't work. However, I found out that I grew my chest 1/4 of an inch, and I grew my biceps 1/4 of an inch, and I lost an inch in my stomach. So, to all my belief, is that I lost the fat where it's not needed in my stomach, and I gained healthful muscle and not so much hydration. This is one of those things. You have to like always look back on things. So I'm really happy with it. It's a transformation because muscle weighs more than fat. So it's like muscle, the same pound of muscle takes like 5 times less room on your body than a fat blob does. So if you look up online, a fat blob of 5 pounds, it's like this big. But a pound of muscle is like this big. So even though I lost an inch on my stomach and I gained a whole bunch of muscle on my chest and the things. So this is one of those things. Because doing this program, I got into the habit, and it makes me feel good to do the right habitual things that this program teaches you about. I have a community to plug into. I have motivation, and it also helped me figure out the exact reason why. So you have to, like one of those things, just sit down. Why do you want to be in the ultimate shape in your life? How would it, for example, let's say, contribute to being treated by others? Do you think that more healthful and positive sounding and healthy people might get treated better in society, that they might get promotions because they're able to do a lot more work, because they're able to provide their boss greater value? How would you like to be the one that sets the pace for your entire family? Whether you're a husband or wife and stuff like this, that people see that positive change in your life, and then they decide to do it too. And then because you did it, your entire family is now more healthy, happy, and more abundant because you're full of energy now. You're not sitting there in front of the TV eating potato chips. You're moving every day. You're feeling good every day. If you're older, getting the body back to its health, the body doesn't have to be in pain anymore. Obviously, your results may vary. However, just so many people have reported such positive things, is that it really doesn't matter what you believe now. It's like you could be that skeptic because everybody else. But we have to also understand, one of the points is that imagine everybody was healthy and happy and didn't have to go to doctors. Where would the doctors have to go? What kind of things would they be able to prescribe you? They wouldn't be able to prescribe you anything because you're doing everything perfectly. You would never have to see the doctor. Imagine that. Like, except like if you need like a broken leg fixed or some other, like a stitch or something, probably a lot of these jobs will go away. So this is one of those things, is that maybe this is why it's not taught in the regular educational system, is that, hey, there's just too much money being made from people being sick. So if you're like, oh, I didn't hear that on the mainstream media. Well, on the mainstream, on the regular ideas that are out there, people get promoted. Oh, eat this low-fat cookie. It's going to be really good for you. So these are the points that we have to really address in seeing what really happens. So the point that I want to make is that, who do you listen to? You listen to that person that has what you want, has been where you are. I've been where you are. I'm 39 years old, going on 40, and I went from an age based on my health markers of 41 to now 33. So I'm feeling much younger than 33. I'm feeling better than I was when I was younger, because I just didn't know any better. And now I realize, because I made this investment into my life, that it's probably the best thing that has ever happened to me. So now that I talked about this, we're going to look at some before and after pictures, like 3 months before and 520 days before, and we're going to see this before and after and review it together. Okay, friends, so let's review the before and after pictures and the stats of where I came from and where I'm at today. So this is the past 107 days about. So I did start with a lower number. So sometimes the numbers lie. However, what we're looking at is the correct number. So 60.1, I actually did drop down in body water. So perhaps maybe I'm not doing the program as perfectly as I should be. However, maybe having less fat and having more muscle might actually be skewing the numbers a little bit. However, this part over here, 46 went to 48. That's a good number to lower. And the abdomen went from 34.5
from 35 to 34.5. And we're talking about on the biceps 1175 to 1225, so that's half an inch on the left one, and 3/4 of an inch looks like bicep to 12.5. So let's see on this bicep, yep, 1225, 1 to 12. So we're talking about getting a 1/4 inch bicep increase a month. That's fantastic. So some numbers I can improve on, some numbers it really. What I think these numbers are reflecting is actually an increase in muscle, and I'm going to show you why. So this is the before and after. So I personally would rather be 189.4 and look like this as opposed to 184.8 and look like this. You see over here my stomach. Over here, it seems that this shape, more of a V shape, got built up. The chest got built up. I think we had an increase in the chest. Chest went from 41 to 42 to 42.25. So we're talking about an inch buildup in the chest. And you see that like the veins are popping here more, like the same veins. More are visible. This definitely looks much more of a champion right here. And what you're going to notice is with this program, the skin does tighten up over time. It does take time. So 107-day difference, we went from this stomach being a little bit more like loose skin. This is the only loose skin that I have. Yeah, nothing on my arms or nothing weird or strange anywhere else. So it just takes time for the body to eat up the skin and move it out of the thing. Also look at the back. So now that I have healthy habits of working out almost every day, or a lot of times every day, this building up of muscle actually has had my, it looks like back straighten out a little bit. You see I had this right shoulder slooping down a little bit lower than the left one, and this one looks like a champion's back right here. I guess the pull-ups really do make a difference. Notice over here there's a lot less extra flabby skin over here, which is nice too. From the sides, definitely we can see almost an increase in the circumference of the arms. The chest looks more pronounced over here, and we do have more of an indentation over here, showing more of a six-pack. And over time, as this part gets removed, we're going to have a really awesome stomach area. Side by side, this is already looking pretty good. However, over here, we're looking at the really nice looking muscles, and over here, this area, it got really tightened up. So if you were asking questions like, can it actually really tighten up the skin and reverse like skin conditions from having too much weight? Yes, it can. Look at the results, like 488 days in. Look at the arms, look at the back over here. We were talking about increase of muscles over here, back muscles, and look at the more of a V shape that we have over here is the side by side. That's kind of nice. That's previously, you see over here, this skin over here, and look at the same stomach over here. So I'm looking actually really skinny from the side. And now we're going back to day one. So 488 days ago, this is what I looked like. You know, look at the droopy shoulder on one side. Look at the unhealthy look. You know, this is like what a lot of us look like, which is until we actually take a picture and compare the before and after, we would not know. That's one of those things that we learn, is to take the before and after pictures, because by tracking this progress, we can actually be very happy with our results and move forward and continue the program on and on and on, which is really good. So it's kind of like you pay once and you have it for a lifetime, because now I'm part of a group of people developing themselves. Look at that flex picture. All flab, like so much flab. Oh my God. And then over here, imagine dropping all this weight and there's nothing loose here. Look at that muscle. That's just growing, and this is just getting better and better and better. So I'm closer to a six-pack now than I ever have been, even though that I weigh a few pounds more. However, it's muscle that we gain, and we saw it by the numbers. We lost the fat where we don't want it, like half an inch over here, but I was measuring with a measuring tape over here at the lowest point. So if I actually measured over here, I probably even lost extra fat over here, but the measuring tape that I used, I went over here over the belly button so that I'm always measuring the same place. I think I did gain 1.5, 2 inches on on the shoulders. However, maybe the tape shifted a little bit. Maybe I measured across here like this. So I would say the shoulders did increase back to back. This is definitely a much bigger difference. And look at this back as opposed to this one. I had this extra flab over here, extra flab over here, and look at that. We have the veins popping. We have the straight back. We have also the neck. Look, the neck also straightened out. And this is me now from one side flexing like this so that you could actually see the stomach. This is like how bodybuilders flex. And look at that stomach area from the side. And this one is from the other one. It seems like this bicep looks a little bit bigger than this one. However, they're really close in size. Notice there's no extra like weird skin or nothing. Everything looks perfect. This thing is getting really is going away. And now let's compare the health markers from day 1 to day 487. 487. I took these measurements yesterday, so 487 according to the calculator. So we went from 307 to 189.8. So almost 120 pounds, but honestly, it's probably more than 120 pounds because I did replace some of that like with muscle mass. Subcutaneous fat, I went from 35% to 15.5. Body fat, I went from 41.2 to 17.7. So this is in the normal, close to athletic range. Athletic, I think, is 13 to 17. Visceral fat, I went from 22 to 7. Body water, I went from a severely dehydrated state from 42.4 to 59.4. Skeletal muscle, look at that, 37.7 to 53.1. BMI, I went from 39.8 to 24.4. And metabolic age, I de-aged by 8 years. Imagine that, 8 years in 487 days. So that's like, what, a year and a half? And the other stats about the neck, chest is not in here. However, these are the most important stats I guess we could compare against. So yeah, that's been 488 days with the Energized Health Program, and I'm into I'm going to start doing round number 6 tomorrow or after tomorrow as soon as I can reset my dashboard in the back. So if you guys like this program, I do have a referral code. It's called Feel Good Now, one word, Feel Good Now. And I think you type it in when you sign up. I really don't care if you could sign up if you want. You don't have to. It's up to you. I really care about you getting healthy. That's the most important thing. So hopefully I demonstrated. I haven't been paid by the company. I am a customer that paid for the full coaching program, which I really recommend because I believe it's really great value, and I hope you could saw by the results that got demonstrated. However, one of the things that we have to do is take credit that we invested in ourselves. So I take credit for investing in myself and following good teachers that do give you a healthful program that you can maintain for a lifetime. That's really important. And having all these great friends and opportunity to be on the phone calls every Tuesday, on the Zoom calls, and having that coach in the beginning, holding the hand and really going through the protocol manual, figuring out how it works, and then you can fit it into your lifestyle in your way. So it doesn't matter if you're 18 or 80, you can get close to the same results depending on how much work you put in. So for me, some of the results got an increase in muscle is because I've actually been putting in the muscle work, push-ups, pull-ups, and a whole bunch of different things. And I started out with not being able to do a single pull-up. So now I can do like maybe 4, 5, 6. And I'm doing a lot more. I'm doing also cardio on top of that. It's a whole system with this protocol. I actually like to go above and beyond things. So perhaps my results might vary from somebody else depending on the age, depending on how much training they have beforehand. However, what I believe is that we're all severely dehydrated. to really, without that hydration, the fat loss will not happen. That's my belief. That's the missing key that people are not getting with their standard health programs or whatever programs they might be following, and it's with this program that you could actually solve and reverse and actually get the healthful body, the mind that is working great, and better relationships. You're feeling better, and I think it just pays for itself within the first first time you lose a bunch of fat. Like, it's amazing. So whatever amount of fat I lost, so let's say 120 pounds, let's say, yeah, like the question becomes like this: if you have that much fat to lose, is it worth $5 a pound to you to lose that weight? And then keep it off for a lifetime and be healthier than ever? That's my question. So just think about it, guys. Whatever you want to do is fine by me. I just hope you find your way and get more healthful and happy and get closer to God. So God bless and good luck with everything. Bye bye, friends.